What's going on, everybody? It's like 1:30 in the morning. I just got off work. If you've watched me before, thank you. If you're new, which most people are because I just started doing this, thank you for watching. Most of my videos are in my car where I'm rambling on my way to work, because I know it's not just me, but when I'm driving, my brain tends to be... You ever drive down the road and you have an idea but you can't write it down? I feel like I think better when I'm driving, but I'm gonna try this. I'm in my shop and I have some notes, and I'm going to try to stay on the notes because I've noticed I like to ramble and I like to talk. I like to speak my mind, and that's how I am. So if you like it, you like it. If not, I don't care. Anyway, really quick, it's gonna be super cold here in a day or two. It's supposed to be like 40 or 50 degrees tomorrow, and then after that it's supposed to get down to like 8 degrees, and we're supposed to get anywhere from 10 feet to however much. I don't know. They don't know either. So I got this thing like a year and a half ago, maybe. A little buddy, propane tank. You can get 2 of these for $10, and this thing, it's cold as crap in my shop, but that thing right beside me keeping me super warm. And actually, hold up, it's got this feature where you tilt it and it cuts off. It's a safety feature. So anyway, back to this. I'm going to try to stay with my notes so I don't ramble so much. I'm going to make this quick as I can, I guess. I want to start off by saying, to me it was a joke when somebody told me it, and it was hilarious and I laughed my ass off. But he said, what is the difference between crack and cocaine? And I said, I don't know, man. What? That's weird. What are you talking about? And he said, tax bracket. And to me, that was funny as hell. For obvious reasons, if you know anything about drugs. If not, cocaine is more expensive, I guess. It's the rich man's drug. Crack is the poor man's drug. You know, what I'm getting at with this is, what is the difference between laws for me and you versus laws for the rich people or the millionaires or Congress people or whoever, you know, you think is the bad guy or whatever. The normal people have to worry about laws and taxes and speed limits and, you know, throwing gum on the sidewalk. We have to worry about that stuff. God forbid you say a swear word around somebody and then offends them, and you know, you say the wrong thing by accident, or you jaywalk or whatever. You get a fine. You get $50, $100. You know, you got to spend time going to court and defending yourself and paying a fine and possibly get your license suspended, blah, blah, blah. To the rich man, no big deal. To the congressman, no big deal. You know, what's $50 to them? What's $150 to them? To you, that's your groceries, that's your electric bill. To me, that's part of my rent, you know, my car payment, my gas for the week. So the example I was giving is, your tax bracket is what matters to today's society, and it shouldn't be like that. But what is the difference, and why does it matter? Why does it matter to me what laws they pass, what edicts the king says of today's society? Because they go against the Constitution, and because they go against the Bible, and that's pretty much it. And that's where I have my quarrels with today. I'm in Virginia. We have a new governor. They're trying to pass the most ridiculous shit. I never thought it would be in Virginia. That's California over there. You know, that's some blue-haired crazy people. We got blue-haired crazy people too. They live in Nova, Northern Virginia. All the inner cities, weird people. You know, we're out in the country over here. We do things differently. Most of America geographically does things differently, but because a lot of people live in Nova and they're retarded, they win the election. Whether it was cheating or whatever else. Not to mention, I'm going to do a video on this because it's going to take me a minute to get all the information correct and in order so I can not ramble for 30 minutes. But she's passing all kinds of ridiculous shit over here. More laws that we have to follow. But going back to that is, the laws that I have to follow are only there, they're not there for my safety. They're not there for my protection. Say this was a firearm. Say I was a convicted felon and I wasn't allowed to have a firearm. There's a firearm. Isn't that crazy? You know why? Because criminals don't follow laws. And if you wanted to, pretty easily, you could go down the street or down the block or down into the next city and find another criminal to sell you an illegal firearm, and you're still a criminal. You can't be a double criminal. You're just you're a criminal. You break the law, you're a criminal. And that's where they get you. They pass all this shit to make it illegal, and you're now a criminal. Which is crazy because they're letting all the hardcore criminals and all the rapists and pedophiles out of jail, and all this whole other shit going on. However, this right here is a oak knife that I'm making out of wood. It's going to be actually for like butter and jam and stuff like that. But say they banned knives, you can still make your own knife. If I was a criminal and I wasn't allowed to have a knife, I could still make my own. Criminals don't follow laws. Ta-da, we solved that problem. Drugs are illegal. Crack cocaine that I mentioned earlier is illegal. People still do it. What do you want me to say? The laws are not there to protect you. They are there to generate wealth for the state and the federal government to, in turn, make more laws for you. You ever notice, like, if you missed a court date, or if you got jury duty, or you got a speeding ticket, you had to take a day off from work to go there, defend yourself, and explain what was going on. However, Clinton or Pelosi or all these other whack jobs, demons, whatever they are, they say, nah, I'm good. I don't want to go. Nah, yeah, I destroyed evidence. No trouble whatsoever. If you did that, if I did that, if I even thought about that, you'd be in prison for whatever charge they could make up. And that is where my issue is. These laws go against everything that the Constitution is about. These laws that they're passing 100% go against the Bible. And whether you believe it or not, I don't care. My belief is the Bible and the Constitution. And like there's a lot of laws already that we're supposed to follow. But they can't tax those. They can't tax breaking a law in the Bible. They can't tax the laws in the Constitution. You know what I mean? But they can pass millions of laws every year. Thousands of laws are getting passed. Stupid shit. You have to own a rake over there. You can't collect rainwater over there. You can't build your house without 10 million inspections. They'll tear it down if it's 2 inches off, off the whatever. I know somebody that built their house and it's literally 6 feet too close to the road, still on their own property, and they have to somehow figure out how to move their house. It's like 85% done. But they literally have to build more foundation, lift the entire house up, and move it over like 6 feet. It might be 3 feet actually. 3, whatever. The point is, it's on your property. Fuck them. Like, if we only go with what the Constitution says, and if you're an American, that's all we should have to do. That is all we are supposed to be listening to. But yet every year more laws for me and you are enacted. For what? To generate more wealth. Who is the biggest drug dealer in America? Do you know that? It's not me. It's not you. It's not Tyrone down the street selling heroin, or fucking Jose selling crack, or Billy Bob selling ecstasy. No, it is the federal government. They're in cahoots with the pharmaceutical industry. And what they do is they lobby and they give them money. The politician looks the other way and says, yeah, that stuff's clean and it's all good, and somebody gets hooked on Oxycontin, and they are a patient for life. You know, what somebody was saying in the pharmaceutical industry, they don't want people to get better because they lose clients. It's the same thing with being in the federal government system. They don't want you to get off probation. They don't want you to get out of prison because they lose money that way. They lose a pawn in their game. But when you stop paying attention to what they have to say and start living your own life, buy a piece of property with family and friends and like 80% like-minded individuals. You don't have to agree on everything. Nobody does. But as long as you have your morals down, build something for your family, for your kids. It's not just for you, or you know, your brother or whatever. It's for your sons and your son's sons and your son's daughter down the road. You need to build something now while you're still legally even allowed to own land in this country. And guess what? Even if you do buy it, you still don't own it, because if you don't pay your property taxes, they'll come and take it. There has to be a point in this country where we say enough is enough before we're not allowed to say anything. There was a God, what was it, like a 3-year-old in North Korea and his family. They life in prison or some kind of work camp or something like that, because they found a Bible in the house. They found a Bible in the house, and they have life in prison now in North Korea. Now, I'm not saying we're that bad yet, but the way things are looking in this country, whether you're a Trump fan or whoever else, he's going to be gone in a couple years. Give me 1 second. My damn heater went out. I got a fan blowing in here too to keep the air good. But anyway, so that's what it is. The biggest threat in America right now is the federal government. They don't listen to their own laws they pass. They are there for me and you. They lie over and over again. The biggest gun runner in America was at the FBI a couple years ago, about 8 years ago now, selling guns in Mexico, selling drugs to operate in other countries. But you can't do it because it's illegal. You are not allowed to compete with the federal government. You will go to prison for competing with the biggest mob in the world, and that's the federal government. And like I said, believe in Trump, cool, whatever. Believe in whoever else, cool, whatever. The point is, in 3.5, like 3 years from now, he's going to be gone. Somebody else is going to be there, and it's going to be the same shit. There's going to be more laws passed over and over again. 20 years from now, 20 years ago, there was less laws. 20 years from now, there's going to be 100,000 more laws. You need to wake up and understand that, and to start living your life the way it's supposed to be lived as a free American, without all these laws, without all these stupid, ridiculous laws. Killing babies. They said, what was it? They said the biggest thing that's killing all the kids in today's society is guns. So we have to ban guns. However, abortion kills way more kids than guns. And like I said, I'm gonna make a whole video on this lady. It's gonna take a while, but she's trying to pass where you can have up to term abortions in Virginia, meaning the day of your birth, the day that you're supposed to give birth, you could say, I don't want to no more. I changed my mind, kill it. That should be illegal. And it's funny, and the hypocrisy of that is the people that say they want to kill their babies are the same people that will say that you're a terrible person because you get a puppy, and then 2 years from now, you, for whatever reason, you can't have it, and you take it to, the pound, or you try to give it away to a loving home, and they say, well, if you can't take care of it, why'd you get it in the first place? And if you want to spread your legs, that's what happens. You have babies. Deal with it. We need to start dealing with our own life. If you have a bully in school, stand up for yourself. Punch him in the nose. Break his jaw. He won't bully you anymore. But we have the government and the state now saying bullying is bad. We shouldn't bully. No shit, we shouldn't bully. But it still happens. And if you don't stand up for yourself and let somebody take care of it for you, it's going to make you worse in the long run when you get older. You know, just becoming lazy. I think it started with the remote, having to get up and change the channel. And now we just sit back and flip through it. Now we can't find anything to watch. But when I was a kid, Channel 3 was pretty cool because I didn't have to get up. You know, if I got up, I damn sure made sure I knew it was on the channel that I was changing to, so I wouldn't have to get up again. But we have it so good now because we let the government do whatever they want, and they'll take care of it. Don't worry. They'll always take care of it, and they never take care of it. They always make it worse. They always make it 100 times worse. Everything that they do. Everything they do goes against the Bible, and it goes against the Constitution. And as free Americans, we should start saying no to that and actively rejecting what they have to say. Stop caring if rainwater is illegal to collect where you live at, or you're not allowed to have a garden to feed your family, or whatever other stupid shit that they say. Build your own house. Like, don't take it from me, just think about it. Why would you want to have to pay a couple $1,000s every single year on something that you already paid for and bought? If you could just build a cabin in the woods and live in there. They're still going to get you for, you know, taxes on your land, but it's one less thing that you have to contribute to the cog. There's one less penny that goes to the government, the better. We had a federal government before all these laws came to place, but they keep adding more shit. And when they add more stuff to, or more entities within the government, they need a way to pay for it. So they tax you more. You're literally paying for your own demise by contributing to paying taxes. And I'll leave that there. That's up to you to decide on what you want to do with that. They'll get you for it. They will get you for everything. It is time for Americans to stand up and say enough is enough. And the left is winning right now in this country, honestly, because they're standing up and they're speaking their opinion. They're voicing their opinion. They're louder than you. The reason the Republicans or the right or the red states, whatever, are losing is because we don't say anything. We're literally just standing by and complaining in the background saying, oh, this is horse shit, blah, 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 blah. And that's it. You need to be actively contributing to getting rid of these people and saying that there's more than us, because there are more people on the right than the left. However, the left is louder, and louder usually wins in the barking match. However, they do not win in when the dogs come together. When the Chihuahua is barking at the pit bull, and the pit bull has enough of the shit, and he bites the Chihuahua shuts up real quick. Not saying get violent at all. I would never say that. Of course not. You would never want to defend yourself and your liberties whatsoever. That's against laws. That's against the way they want you to live. You should never stand up for your freedoms in this country of America. But all these laws are lies. They are not there to protect you. They're there to generate money and to control you. That is it. That is my personal opinion. I'm not telling you to do anything, because again, I would never want anybody to stand up for themselves. I would never want anybody to stand up for their freedoms or their religion or for unborn babies. I would never want anybody to ever stand up to protecting people to live their life. What kind of person would want that? What kind of person would want to stand up for liberty and freedom? That would be, you know, that's somebody you would want to burn at the stake, of course, right? Anyway, I hope I didn't ramble too much in this video. It's still 20 minutes long. I try not to. You need to protect yourself in today's society. There are more than just blue-haired Karens out there. There are people that want to harm you because you're an American, because you're white, because you're straight, because you're a male, because you have a red hat, because you have on a red t-shirt that says freedom on it. People actively are hunting you. And that's not fake news, because you see that on the news. People are dying because they believe in a country and they want to keep freedom alive, and they want to have civil liberties for their family. It is up to you to defend yourself. Punch your bullies in the nose. They'll go away eventually. But if you sit back and you let somebody else take care of it, eventually the bully wins, and we don't want that in America. Anyway, I hope y'all have a fantastic night. It's probably like 2 something in the morning now. I'm tired. I'm going to try to make these videos at night after I get off work. I'm going to come in here in the shop. It's kind of peaceful. It's pretty quiet. I feel like you don't hear my car in the background. Hopefully you guys can hear me better in here. I'm going to try to get this set up to be more appropriate to funnel my thoughts into a video. And I hope to meet like-minded people. And y'all have a good night.